want to talk to you about something that nobody in the sandwich generation talks about enough. Not the logistics, not the finances, not the doctor's appointments or insurance claims. I want to talk to you about how it feels. Because if you're caring for an aging parent right now, while also raising your own family or managing your career or just trying to keep your own life together, then you are carrying something that most people around you cannot see. And you may have gotten very good at pretending that things are fine. I did. Welcome to Sandwich Generation Life. This channel is for those adults raising their kids while caring for an aging parent. This video is for the version of you that is not fine, the version that is exhausted, scared, grieving, and a little resentful, and feels guilty about every single one of those feelings. You are not broken. You're not a bad person. You're a human being carrying an enormous load. And today we're going to talk about all of it. Let's start with the one that never leaves. Absolutely never. The guilt. If you are a sandwich generation caregiver, guilt is probably your constant companion. It follows you everywhere. You feel guilty when you're with your parent because you're not fully present. Your mind is on the kids, work, the spouse, or 10 other different things on your list. You feel guilty when you're with your kids because you're not fully present there either. Part of you, you're still maybe at your parents' house, still going over what the doctor said today, still wondering if they're okay. You also feel guilty when you're at work because you had to leave early for a caregiving emergency again, and you can see people starting to notice. Also, you feel guilty when you finally get that 1 hour to yourself, because how could you possibly rest when there is so much to do, right? And underneath all of it is the worst guilt of all. And that's the guilt of wishing things were different. The first couple of times I went home to spend time with my family, I felt so guilty. I had to leave my parent with individuals that were new. That was new to me, new to the parent. I didn't know how my parent would react to these new individuals. I could hardly enjoy the time with my family because I was so worried. I would be out to dinner or at a movie with my family with one eye on my cell phone. I felt that I didn't give my family the time that they deserved with me. I didn't give myself time to take a real break either. So that was unfortunate, but obviously things got better, but you still have that thing in the back of your head that I wonder how things are going. So I want to make this very clear. The guilt you feel is not evidence that you're failing. It is evidence that you love deeply. People who do not care do not feel guilty. But guilt left unchecked will eat you alive, and it will not make you a better caregiver. It will just make you a more exhausted one. I'm going to talk about what to do with guilt a little bit later, but now I'm going to move on to the second emotion. The next emotion nobody prepares you for is grief. This is a tough one. Not the grief that comes after someone passes. That grief, as painful as it is, has a name. People recognize it. They bring food and they check on you, right? I'm talking about the grief that comes before. The grief of watching your parent become someone different from the person who raised you. Maybe it is something that happened slowly. Small things at first. They repeat a story they just told you. They forget a name here or there. They need help with something they always handled themselves. And you find yourself grieving the parent you knew while they are still here, while they are sitting across from you at the dinner table, while they are holding your hand even. It's an odd feeling. There's a term for this. It is called anticipatory grief, or sometimes ambiguous loss. And is one of the loneliest kinds of grief there is, because from the outside, nothing has happened yet. Your parent is still alive. People do not know what to say. Some of them do not even understand what you're losing. I don't think I understand what I'm losing, actually, at times. Sometimes I would sit there telling a story, looking right at my parent. They would smile at parts of the story, laugh at parts. But later I would look back on the whole situation and think, did my parent actually remember the story? Do they even know who I am? I remember also the time where my parent was just in their own room looking around as if it was a strange place. It's a little hard to handle. This grief is real. It counts. You are allowed to mourn it even while your parent is still here, even while you are still showing up and taking care of them. Grieving and loving are not opposites. You can hold both. Now I want to talk about the feeling that most caregivers will not admit out loud. That is resentment. Resentment is a tough word, right? Maybe you resent that your siblings are not helping the way you are, that it has fallen mostly on you or entirely on you. Maybe you resent that your own life, your plans, your career, your marriage, your health has had to be put on hold or scaled back. Maybe, and this is the one that causes the most shame. Maybe you sometimes resent your parent. Not because you don't love them, you do, deeply, but because of what this season is costing you. I need to say something about this directly. Feeling resentment does not make you a bad son or daughter. It does not mean you do not love your parent. It does not mean you are selfish. It means you are human. It means something genuinely hard is happening, and your body and your heart are registering that honestly. The problem with resentment is not that it exists. The problem is when we refuse to acknowledge it, when we shove it down and pretend it isn't there, because then it leaks out in ways we don't choose, in our tone, in our patience, in how we show up. If you're carrying resentment right now, I see you. I'm not going to tell you to just be grateful. I'm going to tell you to find a safe place to put that feeling. A therapist, a trusted friend, a journal, somewhere, because you deserve somewhere to put it, not just down. Then there is fear. The fear that something is going to happen when you're not there. The fear that you're going to make the wrong decision about their care, about their medication, about when to step in more. The fear that you will not be enough. The fear you will not catch something in time. The fear when you look back one day and see all the ways you fell short. And if your own children are watching you go through this, there is the fear underneath the fear that one day this will be them, that they will be sitting where you're sitting right now. Fear in caregiving is almost always about love. The more you love someone, the more there is to lose, the more you are afraid of losing it. I do not have a way to make fear go away, but I can tell you that naming it helps, talking about it helps, and remembering that fear is not the same as truth. The things we are most afraid of are often not the things that actually happen. Most days, you will be enough. You already are. Now I want to talk about exhaustion. Not just tired, not just needing a good night's sleep. I mean the kind of exhaustion that lives in your bones, the kind that doesn't go away on the weekend, the kind where you wake up already tired. Caregiving exhaustion is layered. There is the physical exhaustion of being somewhere and doing things, the driving, the appointments and tasks. There is the mental exhaustion of managing information, keeping track of medications, insurance, legal documents, care schedules, family communications. And then there is the emotional exhaustion, the exhaustion of holding everyone else's feeling, of being the strong one, of putting your own needs last for weeks, for months, sometimes for years. Here is what I want you to know about the exhaustion. It is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you have been carrying too much for too long without enough support. Those are completely different things. And I will say something that might feel controversial, but I believe it completely. You cannot pour from an empty vessel. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is the only way you can keep showing up for the people who need you. Your well-being is part of your parents' care. Full stop. One more emotion before I tell you what I want you to hold on to. The loneliness. That's really strange because it's the isolation of being in the middle of so many relationships. Your child, parent, spouse, employee, the still feeling profoundly alone in what you're carrying. Because most of the people in your life don't fully understand. Your friends who haven't been through it yet, they listen, but they can't quite get it. Your partner may be supportive, but they aren't in it the same way you are. Even your siblings may have a completely different experience in the same situation. And sometimes the loneliness shows up in a specific painful way, as the feeling that you have to manage everyone else's emotions about your parents' situation, your siblings' denial, your parents' fear, your children's confusion, and your own spouse's worry. You become the container for everyone else's feelings, and there is no container for yours, ironically. Finding even one person who truly gets it, another caregiver, a support group, a therapist who specializes in this, can change everything. You were not meant to carry this alone. So, I have spent most of this video naming the hard things, and I meant every word. But I am going to take this time to now talk about something I didn't talk about. Underneath all of it, underneath the guilt, the grief, the resentment, fear, exhaustion, there is love. The love that is showing up even when it is inconvenient, even when it is costly, even when no one is watching, even when the person you are caring for doesn't always remember or doesn't always know how to say thank you. It isn't the same person they were. You are still here. You are still showing up. That love is in its most honest form. When I'm with my parent, every night I will say good night and I love you. Some nights my parent would say good night. Some nights they would say nothing. And every now and again they would say, I love you too. When that happens, I have the biggest smile on my face, like I won the lottery or something. That's actually special. But, that's the moment. Whatever yours is, that's why. That is what all of this is for. If you're watching this whole video, I want you to know something. What you are feeling is not too much. It is not wrong. It is not something you need to fix or hide or apologize for. You are living through one of the most emotionally complex seasons a human being can go through. And you are doing it while also showing up for your kids, your spouse, your job, your life. That is not ordinary. It is extraordinary. This channel exists because I believe you deserve a place to talk about all of it. The logistics, the legal stuff, the finances, and yes, but also this is the part that keeps you up at night, the part that doesn't fit into a checklist. If this video helped you feel a little less alone, please share it. Someone in your life is carrying this right now, and they need to know they are not alone. And leave a comment below. Tell me which emotion hit closest to home. I read every single comment. And this community, this is a safe place to say the things you can't say anywhere else. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.